Hey guys, just a quick safety note. In this episode, we were filming near some railroad tracks. It is never safe to play, film, photograph, or ghost hunt on the tracks, so just don't do it. Enjoy the episode. You know, there's nothing more relaxing than a soak in a nice, warm tub, candles, glass of wine, but you don't want to sit in this tub, and I'm going to tell you why. Every town has a ghost story that's been passed down throughout the generations. But what if those legends are true? My job is to travel to these destinations, explore them, and figure out the mystery that lies within. Hey guys, in the previous episode, we were in Cleveland talking about the tragic story of the Cragmiles family. Well, tonight, we're here in Charleston, Tennessee, which is just about 20 miles north of Cleveland along the south side of the Hiwassee River. Our story is kind of connected to the previous story because these same railroad tracks that we're going to be talking about are the same tracks that the train that killed Nina traveled on. Charleston, Tennessee, not to be confused with Charleston, South Carolina, is actually home to Fort Cass, and in the early 1800s was the headquarters of the Cherokee removal known as the Trail of Tears. Our story begins with the Great Flood of 1867. The flood affected towns from Charleston and Calhoun all the way down to Chattanooga, and at its height, the waters were almost as high as the Hiwassee train bridge. There was a southbound train passing through Charleston, and at the time, nobody knew just how bad the conditions were. In the area between the river and the depot, the railroad bed gave way and the train derailed, crashing into the embankment. Many were killed, many were drowned, and several were swept away. There were no hospitals in the area, so the neighboring houses acted as makeshift hospitals. The townspeople took the injured to these homes, and they were treated by the local doctor. For those that didn't survive, the depot was set up as a makeshift morgue, and the bodies were stored there until the people were able to come and identify the bodies. Here's where we get into the legend. A young monk was rumored to be traveling on the train that day en route from Baltimore to New Orleans. His body was never actually found, although it's rumored by travelers that they saw him on the train, as well as local town folks seeing the doctor treating him. Out of respect for the doctor's family, I'm not going to say his name, but he actually worked for about a week straight because there were so many victims that he ended up having to take a few weeks off down in Chattanooga to recover and recuperate. After about a week, the monk's family came to claim the body because they had thought that maybe he had perished in the accident. They wanted to talk to the doctor, but the doctor hadn't come back from his rest yet, and he wasn't listed as a casualty. An important thing to note at that time period, most doctors believed that a doctor's office was not a doctor's office unless it had a skeleton hanging in the corner. It was impressive to patients, and skeletons at that time were expensive and hard to come by. After the doctor returned about a year, around 1868, 1869, the doctor ended up with a new skeleton in his office. Nobody knows where the skeleton came from, but everyone said that he was very proud and bragged on it often. The skeleton hung in the doctor's office for as long as he practiced here in Charleston. After he moved his practice to Cleveland, Dr. McClary took over. In the years that followed, Dr. McClary started experiencing some strange occurrences in his office. He experienced this as well as some of his patients. He would often report seeing a shadow figure wearing a brown robe with a white robe, or he would hear this clicking sound that often sounded like marbles clicking together. This activity continued until the office was torn down in 1932. When it was torn down, supposedly workmen found a brown monk's garb as well as an ivory rosary hanging from a nail in between the walls. The doctor allegedly took the monk's body from the train wreck, put it in a tub, and stripped it all the way down to its bones. He figured this guy doesn't have any family to look for him or to miss him. Legend has it that if you come to this crossing or these railroad tracks after a storm, you will either see a person walking the tracks that resembles a monk looking for his skin, or you will see a phantom train on the tracks. You may even hear its whistle and see its lights, but you'll not see a train. Back here is where we think that the train crashed. So we're going to go back here and do a little investigation, see if we can do anything from the train wreck. Watch for snakes. All right. I think this is as good as any. We're not exactly sure where it happened, but based on the information we found, we think that this is the area or close proximity. Who am I speaking with? Is that Kristen? Is that what you said? Yeah? Storms? Was it storming whenever the train crashed? Did you die in the train crash?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so you died in the train crash. Are you a man? Did you know the monk? The monk? Take those off. That's really loud in those headphones. Did you know the doctor? Is this where the train crashed? Are you crying? Heartbroken? Yeah. Are you one of the Indians who were removed from here? I know the Trail of Tears came through here. Yes. Can you give me your name? Are you still with us? Okay. Can you light us one of these lights? Do you know where Fort Cass is? What was that? Can you tell me about Fort Cass? All right, well, we're going to wrap it up. Is there anything else you'd like to say to us? Do you want us to come back? Guys, I'm getting eaten up alive by these mosquitoes. Look at that. There's like a bunch of bites. All right, well, we're going to wrap this up. I have to go back and see what that said. All right, guys, I think it's time to hop back on the motorcycle and regroup. I did just find out recently about an abandoned house in a town not so far from here that has the doctor's tub in it. The family acquired it from an estate sale, so we are going to be able to go in and test and actually see if we can get anything from investigating that tub. All right, we're going to try this REM pod, which is going to detect temperature shift. Right now, the house it's probably close to 90 degrees. There's no electricity, no air stirring whatsoever. I'm sweating to death here. So if this changes at all to cold, then it's definitely going to be something, because there is nothing cool in this house. We've got several things set up here. We've got the REM pod. We've got candles to see if there's any type of air flowing or whatever coming through, breeze. So we're going to be watching those. I've got flashlights over here. Make sure. I just heard something upstairs. We're actually in an abandoned house here. Nobody's lived here for 10 to 12 years. And so I'm not sure. We've actually had reports of stuff going on. So I don't know if the activity we're getting in this house could be from the tub, or if anything we get from the tub could be from the house. So we're gonna have to really carefully analyze the evidence, and we may actually end up doing a full investigation of the house. So we're gonna just see how things turn out. We've got several trigger items. As I told from the story earlier, I mentioned the rosary as well as some wine. I've got this rosary. One of the reports is that the doctor who moved into the doctor's office heard a clicking sound, which they believed to be a monk's rosary. They also found the rosary in the wall, so we're going to see if this works at all as a trigger object. I guess I could get my recorder out, my headphones out to see if I hear any voices. I like to use my headphones while I'm investigating, because it allows me to hear it in real time on my recorder. Sometimes if I hear something, I'm able to ask more poignant questions. All right, is there anybody down here with us? If you're here, you can speak into this recorder and I can hear you. You can light up this meter over here on the edge of the tub. You just have to touch that. You can touch this right here, and that will make all these different lights go off. You can also touch that flashlight and make that light up. Is the monk who was killed in the train wreck with me tonight? I'm sorry this happened to you. That was a very disrespectful thing, so I apologize. Were you traveling to New Orleans from Baltimore, like the story says? Can you make that beep 3 times? 3 times in a row? Thank you. Is the monk the only one here? I'm going to pull out. I'm going to try these rods. These are my spirit rods. You might be familiar with these. They're used for witching water. They would have been used back during your time. All you have to do is come up and touch one of these rods. Let me get stabilized here. I'm going to ask yes and no questions. Yes, you'll cross the rods. No, you'll spread them apart. And I may ask you to point them certain places. Okay? Did you know the people who lived in this house before? The people who bought it when it was brand new? Did you know them? Come on now. I just want to talk to you and find out your story. I want to find out if what they say is true. Can you give me some kind of sign? Were you a monk? Were you a priest? Were you from Maryland? Did you have any family? Would you like a glass of wine? Would you like some cigarettes? I can give you some cigarettes. It's acting like it's wanting to cross. So you want some cigarettes? I just got a voice.
I just got chills.
You get chills?
Teary-eyed chills, like something's going on now.
Okay, can you point to where you're standing? Can you point to where you're standing? Point the rods. Okay. I want you to come out of the shadows and come over here. I just want to, there's actually some, I've got chills.
I do too. Really, really bad. Like, there's something behind me, like.
Are you standing behind Josh? Are you standing behind Josh? Okay. You can't hurt him. Oh, there's something behind me. Okay, I'm going to need you to light one of these meters up. Who is down here with us?
I'm not sure. I may have. I still feel like I've got like a burning sensation behind my ears.
Behind your ears? Okay. We're going to cut the camera off for a few minutes and we'll come back and we're going to check this out.
I just can't get over it. I can't bring myself together.
Okay. Is there anybody here with us? Okay. Did you say your name was Chris? You did? What are you doing here, Chris? Do you live here? Were you the one standing over? Were you the one standing over here beside Josh? Can't tell what that said. Would you like to drink some wine with me? It is really hot in here, and we were getting cold chills major here a few minutes ago. Can you light up that REM pod? How about blow one of these candles out? Would you like for us to turn the big light out? Can you turn one of these flashlights on for me? Did you say help me? Who needs help? Can you do that again? There's something knocking upstairs. What do you think about this? Do you know what this is? Did you have one of these? I don't know what that said. No? I think it said no. Do you know Jesus? Do you like wine? How about those cigarettes? Want some cigarettes? I don't feel like it's going to interact down here. Do what?
What I have to do is go upstairs.
I know, so good. We're gonna go upstairs. I don't know if you want to follow us. Probably don't make sense if they're gonna wine. They say let's go. Is that what that said?
Thanks first.
Okay. We'll go then. While reviewing footage during the editing process, we noticed something strange. I'm never prepared, seems like. There's somebody walking down the road. 11:30 at night. Wearing all black. Hope we really saw her.
I hope so too.
She's gonna look over and be like, what the heck? Does that sound okay how I'm starting it there? Hey guys, so this is the infamous alleged tub. Well, I don't need to say both. Could this be the reflection of the monk in the window?